Hello, gorgeous Libran family. Welcome to November 2019, a month of mystic seeking, stillness, quiet, and depth. This is going to be a month that asks you to check in with what is really you, what is really in alignment with you, what is really working with you. And that sounds really simple, right? Sounds like something we probably do every day, every week of our lives as we check through what's working for us and what's not. But there are some months that have more of that energetic quality of check-in, connection. And this is definitely one of those months. So especially for you Librans, as the sun moves through Scorpio, your neighboring sign, you're getting huge infusions of energy and focus on value and what you value and what works for you, right? And that second house of love and possessions and the things that we surround ourselves with, the experiences we surround ourselves with. You also have a full moon in your 8th house. On the 12th of November in Taurus, in the transformational sign for you, and a sign that makes you look at who you are and who you're becoming and how you have changed, and where something maybe was working for you in June, July, and August. Now in November, you notice that that shift's taken place and there's a big check-in going on there. We have a Mercury retrograde in Scorpio as well, all the way through the 18th of the month, which is also having you check in with what you value, what works for you, right? So the note that came up as I kind of looked through these energies is that, believing in the wildness of your soul, believing in the wildness of what it's really trying to say, and when I use the term wildness, I mean your natural state, you as who you are, not who you think you need to be for other people, not the performative side of yourself, not the side of yourself that has adjusted to survive all these years and to just conform or make sense in the world, and that we do that in very subtle ways. We all do it, right? But this month is going to be asking you, but what's really you? What's really yours? What's really working for you? Where do you really want to connect in? The moon. And when we get close to the end of the month, we're moving into Sagittarius season on the 22nd, Temperance. Speaking of Sagittarius, and there's a new moon in Sagittarius on the 26th. And as we kind of move more into your 3rd house of communication, it's almost like you get clarity on what you value and what you want to work toward and with, judgment. And then you start to move on it. And as we move to the later part of November and then into December, you get more and more of this hit of energy about how to move through the world again. Ace of Wands. You can kind of see the mystic energies going on here. Now, about a third of the year, I feel like in general, tends to have these months come up kind of quarterly, that are really mystic, that work a little bit on a different frequency than on just the externalized or the busy or the motion or the expansion, and work a little bit more on this subtler level. And this is one of those months, Hermit. And if you're interested in understanding more about the Mercury retrograde moving through Scorpio, I'm going to be doing a video on that on my Patreon, 2 of Swords. So if you haven't joined me over there yet, that's a great space to get some extra insight during the month about what's going on. But this month is definitely about the mystic. 8 of Swords, just as I said that. 2 of Swords, 8 of Swords, Librans. That is the part of the process that calls on you to listen to your wild soul and not whatever is expected of you externally or what you think others expect of you externally. And Queen of Cups. Okay. You got a lot of major arcana in this reading, Libra. And this month, like I said, it works. It doesn't work in the quick, fast, external way that we are taught things work, right? Just like in school and movies and stuff like that. Like, it's one of those months where we have to lean more into the universal laws that exist that help us to navigate energetically, which can sometimes initially feel really uncomfortable. So For you, I see some of that discomfort coming up. I see some of that like resistance to the quiet, resistance to the stillness coming up. And often when we have a little bit of that discomfort, it's because there's something that we already know within ourselves. There's something that we know we want to address, connect in with, understand, but we haven't felt like we can totally go there yet. We haven't wanted to face into it because we know as soon as we sit down to listen to it, we're going to have to follow through and address it. That's kind of the way this energy is feeling for me. It's like the thing that you've been collecting information on, noticing isn't working for you, or noticing you've been shifting a feeling through for a while, but you haven't really wanted to have to sit down because you knew as soon as you address it internally, you'll start to take action externally. And that's kind of how this month is working for you all. Because what I see first, the first 3 cards out are about as mystic as you can get. The Moon, Temperance, and Judgment. I love these energies. I mean, Temperance and Judgment, when you look at those two, actually, there's a very similar angel working their magic, right? Working their healing, working their guidance. This is higher level energy. When you think about kind of higher level perspective, right? If we were to pull up and out and look at things that seem like they're really important to us here on the ground, things that seem like we have to hold on to or seem like we have to repeat over and over again, those angels in the Temperance and Judgment cards would kind of see that in your inner being. This is your inner being, your wild soul, your wild voice would say, none of that really matters because even in 6 months, you won't remember what the details of that day were. But this is tying that kind of voice, that spiritual voice is tying into this moon energy you have, which is telling me that there's some emotive part of yourself that you've either been kind of putting off bringing up to the surface, or that, I think the better way to look at this, actually, I'm not going to say putting off. I'm going to say that this is an ideal month to let this internal secretive side of yourself come up and out and speak and calibrate. That Mercury in retrograde in Scorpio is very healing on the emotive front. Scorpio energy is a deep healer, and so Mercury retrograde moving through that sign has a different feeling, and it's helping many people and many signs do some of this emotive healing work. Now the moon, often we either get lost in this landscape or we avoid it at all costs. And the healthy way to approach moon energy, right, is to sit with it and witness it and connect with it. And that's what Temperance and Judgment are all about. Temperance is associated with our ability to find balance between physical and ethereal, between heat and cool, right? It's an alchemical process that goes on in the river of life. And the same with Judgment. Judgment is about releasing things that we have been judging, releasing judgment on places we've been, people who've hurt us, expectations maybe we had of where we thought we were supposed to be by November 2019, right? All of these energies right here are saying to release, release, release. Now, Temperance and Judgment do have a tendency, I've noticed, to create little spaces around you, little quiet bubbles at times where things get kind of pulled away so that you're not action oriented all the time in order to create enough space for you to hear what is next. Now the thing is that there's something getting cleared here, right? There's something getting recalibrated here so that you can be in Ace of Wands mode. And that full moon in Taurus, I think, may feel really impactful for you Librans out there. So keep that in mind around the full moon. Give yourself some time, because I think that moon for your sign specifically will feel a little bit more intense than for other signs. But, Ace of Wands is about new beginnings. It's an initiator. It's getting things revved up so that we're going. And so you kind of notice how we start with the moon and Temperance and Judgment, and these really deep cards that are like pulling something up and out to be illuminated. And what happens there is then there's space to act. There's space to take action. There is kind of a match being lit here so that you can see really clearly, right? The answer is often very simple and crisp, right? We want to make it very complex, and during Scorpio season, a lot of times we are analyzing, we are going deep, we're looking for the complexity, we're looking for the tough parts, we're looking for ways to map something out really in complex ways, when often it's just, is it aligning? Is it feeling good to me, or is it not, right? And that's the thing that comes up here, is you have so much energy that keeps redirecting you to your wild soul voice. The Hermit, the Two of Swords, and the Eight of Swords, I think, work so perfectly together and are all on a team. Because what these three cards say to me is that however much you look for evidence outside of yourself, right, to bolster what you already know inside, you can look and look and look, and you can stay super focused externally. It won't give you anywhere near as good information as what you have inside, what you already know, your wild internal voice. And so what often happens is our soul voice, our wild voice, our higher power, our spirit council, however you like to think of that, when we have been resisting listening in, will take away the instruments we have to distract ourselves, to push forward, to make things happen, in order to give us enough stillness to listen. And to slow down and hear the soul voice as it works through. Right? And so Two of Swords, Eight of Swords, yeah, maybe they don't look very exciting, but I often find that these are the cards where we get the information we need. And the less we fight this energy, the more enjoyable, quite enjoyable this will be, because it reconnects you to your soul voice. If you've been feeling some dissonance between your externalized vision of yourself and that internal voice, like there's been a divorce or a barrier put between the two, this month is going to take that barrier away so that you can feel again, right? And that's where Queen of Cups comes in here, so that you can feel again, so that you can connect again and relate again and be really present with the people you love, with the experiences you love. If there's a project that's not feeling good, it feels heavy and empty. If there's a relationship that's feeling heavy and empty, if there's a routine or a habit that's been just weighing you down, this is the month that clarity comes in. That crisp, clear knowing. The only time we feel lost, like we can't make a decision, right, is when we're trying to modulate ourselves and not listen to our truth, right? When we're trying to fit into a box or twist ourselves into some kind of logic that will keep things the way that we feel they're supposed to be, that's when we start feeling really blinded. But as soon as we release that, we release this expectation that we should be this shape or we should be this way, freedom comes, and clarity comes, and knowing comes. And the thing is, you have a path, you have a way, you have a lantern. You know, I see these energies all around you that are very clear. There's one, maybe two things that you all need to address this month and get clear on. It's very simple. And there can be a lot of other things going on in your life, but this has to do with something very close to your soul. This has something to do with something that you've been thinking about all of 2019. It's kind of getting to this culminating point with this month of value that's so deep in your bones, and what you value and what works for you and how that feels. And this Mercury retrograde, along with the Taurus full moon, and the way that the energies are transiting, are going to be asking you to do that quality work and to just listen to your wild soul. It's not always about work as much as it is about taking a breath and not being afraid to go straight to your true voice and what it has to say to you. I have a few affirmations for you this month to take with you as you navigate, like I said, a month that doesn't always give us our answers in the way that we expect them. but gives us our answers in surprising, rich ways. So here are your affirmations for this month of magic. I trust my inner voice. I allow guidance to meet me in the little details each day. I allow my wild, natural voice to speak and give me direction. I follow my own path and trust that the changes and shifts that come are perfect for me. I am sending you all so much love for November. I think it's going to be a really impactful month, a very identity shifting month, but that doesn't always come with big drama on the external. And in your case, it's not about external drama. It's about the crisp clarity of the internal. And that fomenting a lot of external change, actually, a lot of big growth, a lot of big new adventures. But the only way those adventures are going to find you is if you are able to listen. And if you avoid that listening, you may find that this month feels a lot more scattered and a lot more out of whack with you. So kind of keep that in mind as you're working through this energy. I'm sending you so much love. Like I said, you can join me over on Patreon. There's going to be some really fun video extras I'm doing the next few weeks. And there's always new videos coming out and new astro write-ups as well. And I will have that Mercury retrograde in Scorpio video up there for you to hang out with me. You get access to all the good stuff as soon as you sign up. Everything is yours to hang out with me with. And you can also find PinkLune's gorgeous jewelry on her Etsy shop. If you're interested, you can go follow her Etsy shop link below. You can find me on Instagram at SarahVerba and on my website, SARAHTAROT.com. I might have a couple sessions left if you're still interested in working with me in 2019. Otherwise, in December, I will be announcing my 2020 calendar dates. So if you're interested in getting on the 2020 calendar date update notification email list, you can email me to get included on that list so you can find out and get your session booked in 2020. Otherwise, I will see you guys for more Moon Magics and for December 2019, which is so wild to me that that's coming up. But I love you so much, Librans, and I really believe in your journey and your path, and I hope you have a beautiful November.